Hello everybody, my name is John Eggers and I'm going to tell you about Project Graduate. Do you think it's possible to graduate 100% of our high school class? Well, I think it is. And I'm not shooting for 60% or 70% or 80%. I am shooting for 100%, and that's the goal of Project Graduate. I founded Project Graduate about 4 or 5 years ago, and the intent was, again, to look at our high school seniors and say to principals and superintendents, we can graduate all of our students, but we have to adopt at least 3 principles. Before I tell you what those 3 principles are, and before I tell you 1 or 2 things that you can do today to help your students graduate, let me just tell you a little bit about Project Graduate. Project Graduate is a 16 to 24-hour class that students can take face-to-face or online. And the whole focus of the class is centered around you need to graduate from high school. That's it. That's the whole focus of the class. The focus is not mathematics or on reading or on doing your algebra better. The focus is just on graduating from high school. For taking the class, the students receive 1 college credit, which is unique, and it's a great perk because here you have students who have not really thought about going to college. All of a sudden they're getting 1 college credit for the class, plus they get 1 high school credit. And as you know, most of our students who are at risk to graduate are behind in their credits, but now they're receiving 1 high school credit also. So as I said, they can take the class face-to-face or online. To learn more about Project Graduate and how your students could take the class, just go to my website, John Roger Eggers, EGGERS.com, and I'll mention that for you later. The 3 or 4 guiding principles of Project Graduate are this. 1 is relentless persuasion. Yes, relentless persuasion. My students never forget that their number 1 goal is to graduate from high school. The second guiding principle is that I tell them that don't give up on me and I won't give up on you. So I really try to persuade them that they need to stay in the class and that I'm not going to give up on them, and that's exactly what happens. And then the third one is I use 12 specific teaching strategies that guide my teaching. One of the strategies is, for example, is just getting to know my students better. Over the 50 years that I've been in education, I found that the more I know my students, the better the greater the likelihood that they will stay in class, get a good grade, and graduate. And if I have students of color in the class, I try to integrate as much of the culture into my teachings as I can. So those are the guiding principles of Project Graduate. Another one is also that of immediate intervention. As soon as we learn that a student is at risk to graduate, we need to do something. We can't wait until the 2nd semester of the senior year. We can't wait until our juniors. What we really need to do is start out at the elementary grade level. But that's a whole nother topic for another discussion. Some of the things that you can do right now to help your students graduate are some little things. For example, rather than put your master's degree diploma on the wall or your bachelor's degree diploma on the wall, put your high school diploma on the wall and talk to your students about the struggles you had in high school. Remind them that you were a high school student at one time as well. The second thing you can tell them is that they have as much potential to graduate from high school as anybody else because they have the same number of neurons. We all have 4 or 5 billion or 1 trillion neurons, and your high school students have the same. Now those neurons may be in a different part of the brain, but still they have the same potential to graduate as anybody else. And like I told you earlier, you need to remind your students that you're not going to give up on them, and they shouldn't give up on you either. So just by telling those 3 things, you can increase the likelihood that your students will graduate. Well, I hope you will join me for more little YouTube videos about Project Graduate and how you can increase the likelihood that all of us can help graduate, not 80% or 90%, but 100% of our students. You can learn more about Project Graduate again by going to John Roger Eggers, EGGERS.com. Thanks for listening.